Sia, as we continue to unpack just the shocking levels of femicide in South Africa, I don't know if you felt it yesterday, but it did feel like something had shifted in our collective psyche as a country. There was this realization that something is very, very broken.
Yeah, that's true. And thank you again for this opportunity. I mean, the country is at a stage whereby we've been here before. You'll remember around 2017, just after the death of Karabo Mokoena. Be that as it may, we need to come to terms with the fact that we don't know what to do. And the government must come out and say, really, that they don't have a plan, they don't know what to do next. And then that is why we are there. We're always calling for everyone, every civic organization, every individual, from government to the private sector, to come together and make sure that we fight the scourge together. Unfortunately, none of the hashtags are going to assist us. They are just the platforms, obviously, to vent out and you know, have our frustrations heard. But unfortunately, them alone, they will not be able to assist us. What the problem is, the culture of impunity that is deeply entrenched, in a sense that perpetrators know that they can simply get away with it. And even after we had the news of Uyinene yesterday, people continue to victim blame. In fact, the government was tweeting that women must not do this, women must do this, which is a problem that we have in our country. And I always preach that it is about time that South African men would take collective responsibility on issues of gender-based violence and femicide. I mean, the stats have shown that the femicide rate in our country is 5 times higher than the global average. That is outrageous. It is sickening. And we cannot continue to allow that to happen in South Africa. But unfortunately, all these talk shops are not going to take us anywhere. We need to be active participants in the fight against. Just to mention this quickly, and I said this on social media last night, that very soon we'll be going into the 16 days of activism. And that is when people are going to start to be activists. Even the government itself, they will be, dispensing millions that will go to celebrities to get them to wear T-shirts, when in fact there are organizations that are dealing with the psyche of the boy child on the ground. There are organizations that are dealing with victims on the ground. But those organizations, when they go to government for assistance, they are told that there is no budget. So as a country, I think our priorities are misplaced, which is something we need to look at very closely.
No, absolutely. And, yesterday you talk about, these hashtags are not going to get us anywhere, but there was something about sort of collectively, even though it's just a small portion of the country talking about it on social media, but to talk about it collectively and to feel heard and in some way understood on a platform, it did something for us as a country, well, those of us who are on Twitter, and there was a sense that there was a real moment where the president was needed, where something had gone so drastically wrong. It's been wrong, as you say, for so long.
Yeah.
But something had broken so drastically. It was a moment where we needed the president to address the nation.
Exactly, and which brings me to my next point, is that, nature does not allow for avoiding leadership, and that is what we have in South Africa. We've got a leadership crisis. This is not the time, and I said again this yesterday, this is not the time to be praying, this is not the time for us to be talking, it's time for decisive leadership. We need action to be taken against people who murder and rape. We need a leadership that will say, okay, now is enough, we cannot continue to have this. And I feel that, in fact, just before I came in here, someone mentioned that the president had said something. Personally, I have not seen what he said. And I was asking this question since the news. So, the news broke. Where's the president? Johannesburg is burning. Pretoria is burning. Women are being killed left, right, and center. This is not the only case that we heard of yesterday. A 6-year-old was kidnapped just outside the primary school. Another case we are dealing with in Mamelodi. A lady was moving from from Hatfield to Mamelodi. She was getting raped the whole night in a quantum. These things are happening, and we're not saying they haven't been happening, but this is the time for leadership to step in and say, this is the direction that what the people of South Africa need now. It's leadership, as you say. We need someone to lead us. And unfortunately, the government of the day is not doing that.
Yeah, there's a leadership void for sure. Once again, President Cyril Ramaphosa, where are you? Thanks very much for coming into studio.
Thank you.
He is the founder and CEO of Not In My Name. Sia Gentile joining us in studio.